If you're a man in the middle and you don't have the light yet, often you'll find the light by jumping into the dark. The deeper you go, if we imagine, let's imagine the yin and the yang. Let's imagine there's a line in the middle and you have the light and you have the dark underneath it. If you're standing in the middle, the deeper you'll dive into the dark, it's like coiling a spring. The higher you'll bounce back into the light.
Get the real talk on Patreon. Join us and elevate your mindset.
I mean, I'm sure God's going to give me the scenarios I'm looking for. He's going to give me the good and the bad, and they go together. And anybody at home who is in a negative scenario or in a negative situation who's complaining needs to understand that they need to embrace it and use it as a springboard, because there's no light without dark, and they're equal and opposite forces.
I also think that God is pleased with you when you show him the beauty of his creation. I think that God is pleased with you when you work as hard as you possibly can and you do the best you can in anything you're going to attempt. God loves people who work hard and try hard. And in my own personal life, I can see that God is very happy with me when I give it 100%. And very few people give anything 100% anymore. Yeah. It's very rare you meet somebody and if they're honest with themselves and with you and with God, say, I gave it everything I had. They gave it some. They tried a bit. They got demotivated. They got distracted. They got tempted. But when you truly give your 100% to something, I think that makes God very happy with you. And I think he rewards us for that. I think that you have to live. There's a lot of practical advice I can give. In terms of the religious sense, I would say you need to live like God is always watching. You may have the opportunity to do something bad, or you may have the opportunity to steal some money or snake somebody, but in the end, you're going to pay for that and the bill will be paid. I think if you do the right thing, in my experience, if you're a person who does the right thing, firm handshake, is on time, doesn't lie to anybody, does what he's supposed to do, is honest with a good heart, is genuinely polite to everyone he meets. If you are that person, you get very far in life. I've yet to meet people who just do all the simple things right, who completely fail at life.
But I think without those brokey days, without those original days to compare it to, without that juxtaposition, then I don't think being rich would be fun at all. I think it's only fun because you can compare it to the days when you weren't rich. That's the only thing that makes it fun. The only thing that makes my $10,000 steak fun is that you can laugh saying how you never had 10 grand in your bank till you were 27 years old. Yeah. Like otherwise it's boring. Otherwise, okay, steak. And I think if you're born with too much money, that you'll never truly be happy. I think you need the brokey days.
Men grow kind from pain. I think that the worst men on earth are the ones who haven't had enough pain. Those are the arrogant pieces of shit people. You're supposed to suffer as a man. You're born to suffer. The whole reason God put men on this planet is to fucking suffer. And the best men are the ones who suffered the most. I wouldn't be top G if I didn't suffer more than anyone else. You're a better man than everyone else if your life was a fucking mess and it was a hardship, because you're not what happens to you. You are how you react to it. And the best men on earth are men who have had their parents die, their best friends betray them, their girl betray them, thrown in jail, their money stolen, stabbed, robbed. And every time something happened to them, they sat there and they looked in the mirror and said, what can I learn from this? How can I stop this happening? Those are the best men. Those are the men respect. Those are the men women want. Why do women love scars? Look, they tried to kill him and they can't. That's why I want him. The best men suffered. You find a man who's never been through suffering, and nobody gives a shit about him. Men don't like him and women don't like him. Men are no good without it.
And that's what life's about. You're not going to be able to go through life avoiding pain and also becoming a man of quality. You're going to have to be that guy who's been through so much shit that he can wake up and go, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing compared to back then. This ain't nothing compared to that time. You know, and if you're not going to be that guy, then you're going to always suffer the consequences of not being that guy. There's pain to become important and there's pain in not being important. So you have to make a choice.
I think God wants me to be the best possible version of myself. I think that God dislikes people who are lazy. I said this to somebody once and he got very offended. I said, God doesn't like lazy people. God has created you and he wants to see the absolute best you can be. I think that if you don't take care of yourself, God has no interest in taking care of you. If you have a Ferrari on the drive and you don't take care of it, who's going to take care of it? Nobody. I think that taking care of yourself and being the best possible version of yourself you can be is how you please God. I think that's one of the best ways to praise him, is to wake up every day and say, I need to be the strongest, smartest, fastest, most fearsome, most stoic, most capable man I can possibly be. This is how I please God.
The masculine youth have the worst life. I would argue that young men today have a worse life than even young women, and they have all of their own problems. I'm not saying their problems don't exist. But for the average young man today, women expect him to be a millionaire at 20. Which he isn't. Nobody gives a shit about his opinion at all. He can kill himself. Nobody cares.
He isn't born with any innate value because he's not beautiful like a woman is. So he has to build himself from the ground up. He has no teachers in any way. No one really to teach him. There's people like us on the internet, fine, but everyone around him is going to convince him that we're bad people. Everything he's being told in regards to his natural feelings, his natural instincts and inclinations, he's being told makes him a bad person, makes him toxic for feeling like a man in any way. It's very hard to be a young man today, and they feel disenfranchised with the system. So they find solutions. The human mind looks for solutions. They start listening to me and they go, oh, I feel better if I do this. I feel better if I go to the gym. I feel better if I start to take responsibility and take accountability. And I feel better if I'm not afraid of pain anymore. I feel better if I'm not afraid of suffering. I feel better if I understand that I'm supposed to suffer, that that's what's going to make me the best person that I could possibly be, that my youth is supposed to be spent doing difficult things so that I have the light and the dark. They find me and they start to feel a certain way about it. And then they reject the matrix programming. I think we're here to struggle and to learn. I don't think we're here to be happy. That's why when we keep going back to the happy argument, I've always found that kind of frustrating and annoying. Yeah. And someone goes, oh, but I want to be happy. Why? You're a man. You have responsibilities. I think we're here to do important. Provide, protect. And we're also here to do important things. And important things are going to be difficult and they're going to be hard and you're going to get frustrated. But that's what gives you purpose. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to endure pain. Yeah. I think we're here to just see how hard we are to kill. I think that going through terrible things and living through them and coming out the other side is one of the most fantastic things about being human. I think that it's almost like once you understand what life is really about, there's no emotion which isn't enjoyable. The only emotional state which can be seen as detrimental is feeling nothing at all. But if you're sitting at home and you're feeling truly heartbroken, at least you're feeling something, right? And I think that's the whole part of being human. I think we're here to struggle. I think we're here to go through pain. That's so I wake up each day and go, what can I attack? What problem can I solve?
There's a version of you that never sleeps in, never skips training, never wastes time. There's a version of you who never fails. It is waiting for you. Genuinely ask yourself a question. If you had done those things for the last 2 years, you never skipped a training, you never wasted time, you never scrolled TikTok, you never jerked off to Pornhub, you never sat aimlessly on the internet typing in garbage, never played video games, you never wasted time. You never skipped training, you were training every single day. You never slept in, you were never lazy. There's this version of you. Imagine the person you would be. Genuinely imagine what you would look like. Imagine where you would live. Imagine the car you would drive. Imagine how much your woman would respect you. Imagine the love you would see in her eyes when she looks at you with adoration like a king. Imagine your existence. That person is waiting for you. And the only thing that's stopping you from being that person is your monumental laziness. You can have it. The universe is very giving. It will give you anything you work for. I've never seen somebody try for something with all of their might and not get it. The only people who do not have the things they want are the people who do not try for them. I've never seen a person wake up and say, my only dedication in life is to solve a Rubik's Cube and fail. You are not stupid. You are not incompetent. You are lazy and arrogant. It's extremely important you understand that that person is waiting for you and you are declining that version of yourself. In the multiverse, in the many different versions of the universe that exist, there is a version of you that does those exact things. And he is a greater person than you can even fathom. You can transform yourself into that guy. You can be a top G. That's exactly what I did. I knew who I was going to have to end up being before I became that person. My brother and I are not from rich families. We are not from advantaged beginnings. But I knew I had to be a big, strong, fighting billionaire. That's what I knew I had to be. I wanted to be Batman, so I became Batman. It's extremely important that I got up knowing what I wanted to be and did it.
Good times don't last forever. Neither do the bad times. It's going to come, it's going to go. And you just have to be ready to ride the storm and enjoy it for what it is. And maybe when you go truly crazy, you can enjoy the bad times as much as you can enjoy the good times because there's no light without dark. I don't know about you, but my brother and I, our best stories are being broke. In fact, being rich only has any value at all because we were broke. If I buy a Lamborghini, I don't care. But if I buy a Lamborghini and then laugh about how I didn't have a car, now I want the car. There's no light without dark. There's no joy without pain. There's something wrong with you as a man. You have a disease because your life sucks. I don't think that's true. I think that your life just sucks and you should change it. And another thing I also preach, and this is another thing that's very important, I also think as a man, because life as a man is pain and suffering. And when I say that, because you're never going to be a good man or good at being a man without pain and suffering. You're going to have to go through a bunch of shit and have a terrible life to become a good man. I think you should embrace that and accept it. And I think that the correct mental model for men to have is a degree of stoicism and not to be too concerned with even how they feel. If I woke up today happy, I would have done this interview with you. If I woke up today sad, I would have done this interview with you. What's the difference? Why put so much importance on my emotion if certain things must be done? I must work. I must train. I must see Tucker Carlson. I must resist the Matrix.
You've got duties.
I've got things to do. So why are we going to sit around and talk about how I feel if it doesn't even affect how I act? You should improve yourself. You should sit and say, what skills can I learn that I can carry with me? I mean, if you get good at basketball, you need a basket and a ball.
Of course.
But if you get good at fighting, you have it. If you're good at speaking, you have it. So you should sit there and make a list of all the things that you'll always have with you, and you should upgrade your character. You understand in video games to upgrade your character, you'll see that some levels cannot be beaten unless you upgrade your character, no matter how good you are. Yeah. You have to level up your character to beat the game. Well, the levels of life are the same. You're not going to survive Romanian jail if you don't level up your character. You're going to end up preyed upon. So you have to upgrade your character. So if you get money young, that's a massive bonus if you have the right mentality, if your mentality is self-improvement. Now, if your mentality isn't self-improvement, if your mentality is what most of these people's mentalities is, which is arrogance, they didn't get it through luck. They got it because they're smart. They're so smart. They're smarter than everyone else. And they got it because they're so intelligent and they'll be able to do it again. And God loves them and they're great. Well, then you're going to see across the next 10 years how much God doesn't love you. I don't think there's any higher experience for men than sitting around with your boys having a laugh and having a joke. I think that's as good as life gets. You can have $1 billion like me, or you can be at the bottom. But if you're with 5 people you truly love, your guys, and you've been with them and you trust them, and you're smoking a cigar or not, and you're sitting around telling stories and everyone's laughing, that's as good as life gets.
It really is.
At the top of the bottom.
On jet or
on the jet or homeless.
In the trenches.
It doesn't matter what, yeah. On the jet, all you do is that. And at the bottom, all you do is that. So that's as good as life gets anyway.
You just wake up and just say, give me this, give me that. I want all of it. I need to, there's an army there. They're really big. We're better. It's intrinsic. Yeah. You need to go and conquer. That's the purpose of life. God created us to learn and understand ourselves and understand other people and understand the world. And what did I say earlier? I said that you don't learn a lesson or you don't appreciate something without pain. So you have to struggle to learn anything. There's only 2 ways to learn things, the hard way or the harder way. If you're smart, you can learn the hard way. But in my experience, 99% of the planet only learn the hardest possible way. If the lesson's even 85% effective, they'll make the same mistake. It's only when they completely decimate and destroy an element of their life do they sit there and go, oops, now I get it.
No.
That's how it goes.
If you're already working hard, you're already going to the gym, you're already training, you make sure that you're getting as much muscles as possible, as much money as possible. You're dedicated. You don't sleep in. You don't waste your time. You don't smoke weed. You don't play video games. You're focused on trying to become fantastic as a person. You can just ignore that girl. That girl who broke your heart or cheated on you, just ignore her. The most powerful move you can make is ignore her. Yeah, you could yell at her. Yeah, you could try and make her scared of you, blah, blah, stupid crap, right? That's not going to work. The powerful move is just to completely ignore her because you're on your ascent. She is likely on her descent. She likely has no intention of improving herself, no intention of becoming richer, no intention of becoming better looking. Time is against her. As she gets older, she's going to lose her looks. You're going to continue your ascent, and she's going to have to watch you for the rest of her life be the man that she could have been with that she's no longer good enough for. And it's the same with also men. There's men who want to be your friends right now, who wanted to be your friend, and they did something wrong to you. And if you're on the right path doing the right things, karma, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is going to teach them a lesson for simply failing to be a good person to you while they had the chance.
I always knew the answer to everything is raw action.
Yeah.
The answer to everything has always been raw action. My dad had a tweet about this. He said that raw action solves all. And he used to say this. I'll give you an example. If you're a farmer and you need rain for your crop and there's no rain, you can sit there and say there's no rain, we're all going to starve. Or you can stand up and do a rain dance. Now, will your rain dance work? Perhaps not. Perhaps the rain won't come. But I would argue that you're better off standing up doing that rain dance than just sitting there waiting to die. You have to do something. Raw action solves. So when I was broke, I was never like, I'm poor. What do I do? It was, I'm poor. I have to do something. If I was broke, I'd go for a run. That's why I was such a great fighter. If I was broke, I'd sit there and go, I'm actually poor. How do I make money? Dunno. Where can I get some cash? Dunno. What work can I do? Dunno. I'll just go for a run then. And I'll just go for 3-mile run. You just have to say, well, I have to do something. I can't just sit still and die.
On your path to greatness, there are going to be long periods of time where you hate what you are doing, where you are dissatisfied with the actions you must undertake, where you are tired, where you are stressed. That is why it is difficult. That is why most people won't make it. If the path was easy, everybody would walk it and it would lead nowhere. 100 people start the path, 99 fall off because it is difficult, and the one person who makes it to the end gets the gold. If all 100 made it to the end and the gold was divided by 100, it wouldn't even be worth anything. The difficulty gives it value. The fact that it is difficult to do is the key component into the fact you want it in the first place. If it wasn't difficult, everyone would have it, and you wouldn't want it because no one would respect it. It's supposed to be hard. Life is supposed to be hard. You're supposed to think this is terrible. You're supposed to suffer and smile through the pain regardless.
I find it amazing when people say they don't have motivation. I have people come to me and say, I want to get rich. I don't have motivation. I want to work harder. Said, how can you not have motivation to get rich when somebody like me with a head start like mine is still working 18-hour days every single day, 7 days a week without having a day off? I'm going to crush you. You don't stand a chance. I will beat you. There is no light without dark. I think the ancient Chinese nailed it when they put the yin and yang together. You have the black and the white, and they flow into each other, and there's a little bit of white in the black, there's a little bit of good in the evil, and there's a little bit of evil in the good. And if life is perfect all the time, you don't appreciate anything. I actually think one of the worst lives you can have is a life where everything goes right all of the time. If you're spoiled to that degree, especially as a man, as soon as you reach any kind of difficulty, you're going to crumble. So I've had to get up a bunch of times. And I do not pray for an easy life. I pray for a difficult life with difficult challenges to solve and being strong enough to handle them. I've never tried to make my life easier. In fact, quite the opposite. And I think that life is going to continue along this way.
I think one of the largest tenets of masculinity for the largest period of human time is ignoring how you feel and doing what you're supposed to do because you're supposed to do it. We feel things, but jobs must be done, whether we are happy or sad. And this is also disappearing from the world. I'm stressed probably 6 days a week. I'm pissed off 6 days a week. But things need to be done.
Right.
So you just have to do them. Discipline is the key to success. If you cannot force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how are you ever going to put yourself through the suffering required for greatness? If you cannot force yourself to train when you do not want to train, if you cannot force yourself to work when you don't want to work, if you can't force yourself to not log into Pornhub or force yourself to eat right, how can you possibly ever become a monumentally successful person if you cannot control yourself long enough to do what must be done as opposed to what you feel like doing? The only people who get to live their lives based on how they feel are women and children. Children can cry because they feel like crying, as can a woman. A woman can start an argument because she feels like arguing, as can a child. A man must do what he is supposed to do, irregardless of how he feels. That is the key component to masculinity, is discipline. If you do not have the discipline to dedicate yourself to anything, you are going to fail and be crushed by the people who can. If you only go to the gym when you feel like going to the gym, you're never going to be as strong as the people who go to the gym when they don't feel like going to the gym. That is a reality of life.
Word angry can be misunderstood. I think I'm an angry person, but I genuinely enjoy being an angry person. People assume anger is quite a sad, low-frequency emotion, whereas I think anger is an extremely energetic emotion. I was a fantastic kickboxer because I'm angry. Like, the only thing that will get you out of bed and go to the gym at 6 a.m. when you're fucked and you don't want to and you've literally got a broken ankle is just waking up and just being pissed off. Like, it's always done me well. Yeah. Like, I don't have a criminal record. I've never attacked anybody. I have self-control, just because I don't externalize my problems. I don't believe I have an anger issue. I don't externalize it like the depressive idiots do. I understand who I am. Yeah. I've never lost my control in any situation where I shouldn't have. But I think anger is an extremely powerful source. I think it's an amazing pot of unlimited energy. Yeah. And it's a great thing to have if you can attribute it in the right direction. Yeah, you know, I genuinely, even when I was kickboxing, before I had money, I genuinely used to get angry I had no money. Like people, a Ferrari would drive past, people go, oh, a Ferrari, and I'd ruin my day. Like, how does he have $250,000 for a car and I don't? Like, and it really used to make me, people go, well, why are you pissed off? I was like, no, don't you understand? This dude's doing something we're not doing. And everyone else is just like, For me, I was like, no, there's got to be something here.
Yeah. And then there's a way to get there.
Yeah, and now I have one. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're lucky." It's like, no, I've been thinking about this for 10 fucking years. So don't say it's luck. Yeah. You know, it's a long process, and I really genuinely wanted it, and now I've got it. Yeah. So,
have you ever crashed any of your cars?
Never had a car crash.
Touch wood.
I'll never crash. I'm too good for that shit.
Okay, rounding up. So obviously,
You need to be reliable, dependable, and loyal, and never stab anybody in the back, because no matter how smart you do it, no matter how much money you make for doing it, no matter how smart you are thinking you never get caught, it's like a stench that will follow you. And I guarantee if any of you come up to me on the street, you see me on the street and say, hey, Top G, can I get a picture, etc. If you've ever sold your soul or betrayed your brother or betrayed a man you knew for some pussy or talked to your friend, your best friend's girl, or tried to fuck your friend's ex or any of this dumb shit, I will smell it on you. I will instantly be able to tell you are a worm, because I have those levels of detection, and so do most humans. Do not betray people. It is never worth it in the end. Another way.
Well, treachery carried the most harsh sentences in every single culture all around the world.
Let's talk about that.
And no, because like you said, you said this about male leadership. These cultures, the Ming Dynasty and the Aztecs, didn't meet each other. The Greeks, the Persians, the Samoans, the headhunters of Papua New Guinea. You could not be a traitor in any society ever without death. You have to kill the traitors. You must get rid of them. You must expel them completely from the world. But yeah, the sentence for treachery was death. Always, in almost every single society. There's no way you could open the gates to the enemy. You could send messages to the enemy. You could give away your position as a military man.
If you're a traitor, look at the movie 300. Yeah. Why do they lose? That traitor. No one respects traitors. And like you said, you made a fantastic point. In every single civilization since the dawn of time, the most heinous and disgusting torture methods and punishments were always for traitors.
Yeah, so all you could do,
high treason.
All you could do today is to expel them absolutely and utterly from your life. You cannot expel them from the world anymore because we live in a civilized society, but you need to have absolutely zero interaction with anyone who's ever betrayed you, even for a little bit. If someone steals $100 from you once, it doesn't matter.
The least attractive female to me on the planet is the ex of my friend. I don't care how gorgeous she was.
And my friends have gorgeous girlfriends.
And I don't care how beautiful she is. And I don't care how nice she is. And I don't care how badly she wants me. You've been with one of my friends or somebody I know. I can't explain how unattractive you are to me, because my soul, you're dead to me. My soul is not worth selling for some sex. I refuse to do. I will not be a coward or a traitor just to get that's not who I am. And the fact that so many out here even contemplate that is disgusting. And also another thing that's very important. If you're hanging around with snakes, you're probably a snake yourself. Yeah. Because if you weren't a snake yourself, you'd have high value friends. And the reason you can't have high value friends is because they can smell you're a snake. So you end up having to hang around with snakes. If you become a better man and you stop putting anything above your honor, above your creed, above your respect to your ancestors and to your last name, you're going to have friends that do the exact same thing. I'll tell you something now. Me and my boys, the War Room, Tristan, my friends, I could leave my girlfriend in a prison cell with them for 20 years. Nothing will happen. I would bet my life on it, because I bet my life on it, because that's how we operate. We operate honor first. And most of you men don't have that out there. And then you wonder why women look at you and think you're a little bitch. And then you sit there and complain about women as a whole and say women are disrespectful. Well, I'll be honest with you. Most of you deserve absolute disrespect. If you were a better man, if you were the man you were supposed to be, they wouldn't be disrespecting you. You built yourself into a fucking coward. You're hanging around with a bunch of snakes. You are a snake. And you wonder why women don't want to have anything to do with you. You deserve it.
Let me give you a hypothetical situation.
Absolutely, it's life or death, and you need certainty, and a lot of certainty comes from, one, testing your circle, and God will give you those chances to test your circle, but also being certain within yourself, because if you're truly certain within yourself, you don't have the ability to detect whether other people are certainly about it unless you are certainly about it. Takes one to know one. Real recognizes real. When you're truly a G, you can spot if somebody is truly a G. If you're faking it, you're going to fall for people who fake it, and that's why it's so important. Another thing I want to say is that real men are not brutes. We are not cavemen. This idea, I see a lot of people online talking like cavemen, talking like brutes. And what they're trying to do is they're masking any kindness they have, and they're afraid to be soft. They think they have to talk like a rude caveman to people because they don't have any genuine bravery. And what they're trying to do is make up for bravery. If you are a brave man, and men know you are brave, and you've done brave things, and women know you are brave, and they know that if you're afraid, you will act anyway and do the right thing you're supposed to do to honor your ancestors and honor your bloodline. If they know that even if you are afraid, you will still make the brave choice and live with honor, then you don't have to be a caveman to women. You can be the nicest man on earth. You and I are extremely polite, extremely kind, and nobody thinks we're to everybody, especially to females. We're extremely nice and extremely kind, and nobody thinks we're punks, and nobody thinks because they know that we are brave. If you've done genuinely brave things, you then get to go through the world and be an extremely nice person, and nobody will take you for granted. You're sitting at home saying nice guy finishes last. If you're nice to people, they take you for granted because you've never done anything brave.
Yeah.
If you act,
you have to earn the position to be nice without being disrespected.
Absolutely.
If all you have is being nice, if all you have is sucking up, then yes, you absolutely look like it. But when people know that you are capable of much greater things than just being nice, when people know you are capable of being cruel and capricious and mean and violent, and then you're nice to everybody, that's a whole different thing.
Absolutely. And then your niceness is respected, because if you're nice because you have no choice but to be nice, then it's not a choice. That's your default mode because you have no other capabilities. If you do genuinely brave things and you live a genuinely honorable, brave life, you get to be nice to everybody and they are nice to you back. And all of a sudden you seem to have very nice relationships and a very nice reality. We are very nice to every female we ever speak to, and they are all nice to us. Yeah. I thought women were broken. If I meet a woman in Miami, I meet a woman in Mauritius, I meet a woman anywhere on the planet, you can
South
name
Korea.
it. Doesn't matter. They're all nice to me and I am nice to them. If women are so broken, how come every female I ever interact with is exceptionally nice?
You are broken.
You are broken as men. Women are not broken. You are broken. And women are waking up looking around at the men around them saying, why should I treat any of these men with respect? They're all cowards. They're all liars. The ones who want to come across as high value are nothing more than big mouths. They're sitting there running their mouth with no genuine capability, insulting people, belittling people, being rude, and they think that makes them high value. What have they done that genuinely makes them brave? What honor do they display? How do they make their ancestors proud of them? How do they show God they are the best possible versions of themselves? They don't do any of those things, and they're sitting here telling me that women are broken and I should be submissive to him. Why would I be submissive to an idiot like that? It's not women. It's completely and utterly your fault. Lots of men think they need to belittle women to assert their manhood. And that's not the truth. You never need to belittle a woman to assert your manhood. If I meet a woman, a brand new woman, and I end up in love with her, she's going to get flowers. She's going to fly on private jets. She's going to be in 5-star hotels. She's going to be driving around in a Bugatti. She's going to be living the best possible life. I'm not going to belittle her. I'm not going to insult her. I'm not going to call her names. I'm not going to try to make her feel bad about herself.
But you know who will? People on the internet.
People on the internet, because they know deep down they're insecure and they have no real world achievements. I don't have to do those things. I can be the nicest man in the world. And if she doesn't treat me with the respect I deserve, then of course, all of those things will end. But she will be naturally inclined to treat me with the respect I deserve because she knows that I am nice by choice, that I'm an extremely brave and capable man, and she feels genuine respect for me in her heart. And it's that genuine feeling which can't be replicated.
You can hold your opinions on people as much as you like. I'm not going to tell you what opinion to have. But what I am going to tell you is that if you are a fan of mine and you find yourself attacking people you don't know on the internet, then don't even follow me because you're not a fan of mine. Be polite to everybody and don't judge people, especially people you don't know.
A lot of people I see are also talking like women are the enemy. Women are not your enemy.
They're the best thing about life.
They're the best thing about life.
They can give you children.
There's nothing better than having a woman who is truly in love with you, who truly cares about you. When you're sick, you don't want your boys, you want a woman.
Yes.
There's nothing better than waking up with a woman who would do anything for you. There's nothing better than walking around the house and catching a woman just staring at you just because you're built like an Hercules. Trust me, I'll tell you. There's nothing better about it. Women are not your enemy. The idea of never having a woman who adores you and never having children raised in a household with a woman who is feminine and a man who is masculine is your enemy.
Yeah.
You should be afraid of never having a future of a wife who truly loves you and never having children who truly respect you and never being capable enough to know that you have security within your relationship. And that is your enemy,
and that's
not
terrifying.
women.
Money isn't enough. Strength and fitness isn't enough. Intelligence isn't enough. Wit, charm isn't enough. You need to at least be trying in every sphere to better yourself in every way. You can't just lean on one pillar. That's not going to hold a roof up.
Completely. We talk about the fact that 60% of men are sexless incels. And people go, oh, it's so hard for men today. And I agree it's hard. And my answer has always been you need to become a top tier male, because if you're not a top tier male, you can no longer compete in the hyper competitive world.
Why should they want you?
Why should they want you? The reason you're a sexless incel is because you're not a nice person. You're rude, you're abrasive, you have no real world skills, and you feel inferior, so you try and project that onto women, and you know that a woman wants a man she sees as above her, but you don't have anything that makes you above her, so the only way you can feel better about yourself is to belittle her, to lower her status, so that you can feel above her, and that will work temporarily, but it will never work on a long enough time frame. He is supposed to do regardless of how he feels. You must train when you don't feel like training, you must protect when you don't feel like protecting, you must be a good man, and when you're actually a truly good man and a high value man, this is something I absolutely realized in jail. What did I say to you? I think we were in jail about 2 months. It was one of the harder days. It was during Ramadan, and I lost 30% of my food to cockroaches.
The hard days.
The hard days. And unfortunately, I had one meal a day, but the meal came during the sunshine. So I had to try and protect my food from infestation until the sun went down. And I remember losing most of the food for the day, and I was particularly upset because I had trained so hard, my muscles were aching, and I couldn't get any food. I was only eating once a day. Once a day. And I said to you, I said, Tristan, I have no problem suffering if the people I love are not suffering. My children are taken care of. The women I love are taken care of. My mother is taken care of. Everybody around me is fine. Even if they've removed me from my life and locked me in a jail cell, everybody I love is taken care of and is protected and is living good. I must suffer because I am a man. I am the head of my empire. I'm the head of the clan. Of course, I will suffer, but the people I love are not suffering. This is what God has bestowed upon important men since the beginning of time. When you're a man, absolutely, you're right. It is our job to suffer so the people around us do not suffer. And that's why if you're a man and you're waking up every day and you're not trying your very best to be important or upgrade yourself or upgrade your character, or you're lacking motivation, then you have a serious problem, because it is your job to be capable of dealing with the insurmountable pressure which God is going to put upon you so that when you suffer, everyone around you does well. Our lives are set up that even if they throw us in a dungeon today, everybody we love will be okay forever. And that is what's most important. That's the most important thing.
That's success.
And that was absolutely comforting. That was absolutely comforting in jail when we discussed that and we said, everyone we love is okay. You and I just have to make it through this. And that's absolutely not really comforting. And if you're a man sitting at home right now, you need to sit and say, okay, if they plucked me from my life, if they picked me up and threw me in a room and locked me in a jail cell,
which can happen,
to anybody, especially as they continue these matrix attacks on masculinity as a whole. Would your wife have a roof over her head? Would your children eat? Would your family be okay? Think about these things. This is what you're working for. You're not working to make money so you can buy a Lamborghini. You're working to make money, and you're thinking outside of the box, and you're becoming your best version of yourself, so all the people around you will always be okay no matter what happens. It is your job as a man to suffer. And we did our job fantastically, absolutely not as we should.
We always will.
And we always will. And everybody around us was okay. And that is extremely comforting in times of hardship, because we're built for suffering. We were absolutely not built for suffering. No matter how close I came to crying inside of that jail cell, I knew all the people around me were safe and all the people around me could eat. And that's all I cared about. I used my phone calls. When I would call other people and they were asking me how I was, I'd say, we don't want to talk about me. How are you? Are you okay? Are you okay with the media pressure? Are you okay? Are your bills paid? Do you have money? Can you eat? I'm in a jail cell in Romania, making sure that everyone I love is okay. I don't need their support. I don't need them to sit and worry about me. I worry about them. I sat in a jail cell making sure I could fix the problems for the people I love outside in the free world from a dungeon. That is what a man does. And you must prepare and set up your life for that. You must be prepared to be plucked from life and understand that everybody around you who once relied on you will still be relying on you, even when you sit in that jail cell. It's still up to you. You are still the man of the household. You are still the top G of your life. Only you. And if you don't pay the bills, who's going to do it? Your wife's just going to what? Go get a job, get like 5 jobs and raise your kids? How's she going to do that? You must be prepared for these things. That is what you're working for. So if you wake up every day as a man and you say, I don't have motivation to become strong. I don't want to work hard and get rich. I don't want to try and become financially free. What you're saying is that the second you disappear from your matrix controlled job, everyone who loves you and respected you and relied on you is going to starve. How can you live that way as a man? Absolutely not really unacceptable.
Outstanding in the rain.
And that actually comes on to another point that I want to mention about these other influencers and these other people out here who have influence, the ones which are controlled and taught by them and reported by the Matrix and pushed out there for everybody to listen to. What do any of them even teach? How does your life get better from listening to any of these people? What do they teach you? What do they tell you? What do they instill inside of you? When's the last time you've listened to them and felt a fire in your soul or fire in your blood to become a better man? When's the last time you listened to, I need to give more money to charity. I need to help people. I need to set my life up so that people I love will always be okay. I need to retire my mother and make money so she doesn't have to work anymore. When's the last time any influencer on anywhere on the internet, any of them, any of these people streaming this garbage on Twitch and Kick and all these shit websites, when's the last time any of them have ever helped anybody?
I think that's what the average man really needs to struggle. And I've been saying this has been my message for a very long time in all realms. I've said for a very long time that life for the average man is going to get harder and harder. It's becoming more and more competitive. You need to find more and more ways to stand out and be unique. And the only way to really do those things, unfortunately, as a man, is to suffer. And that's one of the reasons I'm kind of glad that God put me in jail, because if you look at anything that builds a man into a man, there's a degree of suffering. It's very hard to become a man and have a man who's respected and has stories and is capable when he only had a nice life and nice experiences. It's usually the things that made you the best version of you are usually the worst things that happen. So the demons I carry from jail, the fact that I can't sleep, I've had girls say to me, you can't sleep, you need to see a psychiatrist. And I said, absolutely not. I would be furious if a psychiatrist walked in here and took my demons from me. I don't care if they could fix me with a click. They're mine. And they were bestowed to me by God. And they are mine to deal with, and they are mine to fix, because that's how I become a better version of me. I would be furious if someone took them away from me. I'm glad I can't sleep. Good, I can train endlessly. That's why I'm bigger than I've ever been. I'll train I'm not going to waste a minute. But all the demons that have been given to me by God and all the problems that have been given to me by God are mine to fix. I would never, ever allow anybody else to take them from me. I'd be furious. If a psychologist came in and said I could cure you, I'd say, no, thank you. I will cure myself. I don't care if it takes 10 years. I'll cure myself. That's my job. And I know that when that's done, I will be more mentally resilient than I ever would have been without jail. That's the whole point of it, right? So many men say, I want to be the man, but they don't want to suffer. They don't want to fight. And I don't understand why, because even if you look at a superhero movie, they tell you, even in superhero movies, they make it very clear. Batman's parents died. That's why he's Batman. All the bad things have to happen. There's no way to get there without the bad things. I get so many emails from people complaining about their bad things, and I don't have time to reply to any of them, but if I could, I'd say, good luck, congratulations, off you go. Of course she broke your heart. Of course you're sad. Of course you miss her. She's with me now. That's life. That's part of it. That's the only way you're going to get to that level of resilience. You can't become the man any other way. So yeah, I thank God for everything bad that's ever happened to me and all the demons, and I trust that he's not going to give me anything I cannot, in the end, decipher and deal with. In the end, I think it's a puzzle, and you decipher it and you work out the best way to deal with it, and you internalize the good parts, and you become a better and stronger and more resilient person for it. So I have to thank God for every single one of them. If being average is not acceptable anymore, at all. It's not acceptable anymore. And it's not acceptable in the sexual marketplace, but it's also just not acceptable, I don't think, even in life anymore. Period. You have to diversify now so much to even protect yourself. The idea that you can just be a law-abiding citizen in a country and just work your job and be okay is gone. It's gone. If COVID doesn't prove that, I don't know what will. Yeah. Look at my situation. You have to diversify. You have to be smart enough that you have assets and friends and capability and lawyers and whatever all over the world now. That's the only way to protect yourself. You can't just sit within one jurisdiction and go, oh, well, but I don't speed, so it's going to be okay. I don't think it is. I think it's coming to a point where it's not going to be okay. My mother always says to me, I'm glad I'm not young. And I'm starting to say that now. I'm glad I'm not young. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be scary, right? Because the world is hyper-competitive. Every single thing in the world is competition. I don't think people realize I'm a hyper-competitive person because I understand that every single thing I want, somebody else wants. The girl I want, other people want. The car I want, other people want. The house I want, other people want. The lifestyle, the jet, every single thing you want, somebody else wants. It's a massive competition. As a man, you have two choices. You either accept that as a massive competition and try and play the game, or you just try and pretend it's not a competition and live in perpetual failure. And it's going to become hyper-competitive. The world already is. You're not going to be able to compete with a person with a computer brain. So you're going to have it because you can't compete. And then once you have it, then who knows? Can they turn it off? I don't know. Can they turn you off? I don't know. Can they inject the slave mind programming directly through the chip? I don't know. That's scary. I would never want to do that, but it's going to get to a point where you're not even a person without it. You can't function without it. You're a second-class citizen without it.
Do you deserve to be happy? Genuinely, every single person watching this, go look in the mirror after this stream, go into the bathroom, look in the mirror. Do you deserve to be happy? Look yourself in the eye. The answer is probably fucking not. You don't deserve it. When you're hungry, it's your body telling you need to eat some food. That's fine. You react to that. When you're depressed, your body's telling you need to change your life. And if you're feeling that for long periods of time and then not changing your life, well, you don't deserve to be happy. You don't deserve it. Everything in life that is valuable must be earned. Peace of mind must be earned. Happiness must be earned. I'm happy because I earned it. I get to be top G. Of course, I'm fucking happy. I'm me. When I look at the lives of people who tell me they're depressed, I look at them and think, you know what? If I was you, I'd be fucking depressed. If I was you, I'd be depressed. So of course you're depressed because your life is shit. But whose fault is that? Yeah. You have to take some personal responsibility for it. And what they'll do is they'll try and outsource it. Well, I had a bad start, or this happened to me, that happened to me. The world ain't fair. Suck it up, buttercup. Shit happens to everybody. I could sit here and be an unsuccessful piece of shit, and I got 10 stories to tell you why I have excuses to do exactly that. And here I am, top G. So that's life. That's life. You have to get shit done. So yeah, if you live in a depressive life, you're going to feel depressed. If you lived my life, you wouldn't feel depressed. So now you know what to fucking do. Now you're either going to get up and do it, or you're going to sit there and stay depressed. And that's why these people are so desperate to defend the idea that depression can't be solved. When you tell the world that depression can't be solved, what you're doing is absolving yourself from all responsibility. I no longer have to stand up and work hard and try and be something because it doesn't matter how hard I work because I'll be depressed anyway. They know that's a lie. They're just trying to fake that they're being ignorant on purpose to avoid doing the hard work. That's all it really is. I understood that physicality is important. It's the bottom line. It's the final decider. It's actually kind of interesting that a lot of these tech guys and tech people, they pretend physicality doesn't matter and they make all this money and they own Facebook and
Amazon and whatever. But eventually they end up doing MMA like Zuckerberg or taking testosterone replacement like Jeff Bezos. It gets to a point where you finally must accept the reality that your physicality, your mentality as a man are linked. And you cannot be happy and strong in your mind if you are weak in your body. You need to have a strong body to have a strong mind, man. There's no way to escape it. And that's one of the reasons why I preach so much about training, learning to fight, get in the gym, get bigger, get stronger. You will fix your mind if you fix your body. You should be as strong as you possibly can. Do you have something to prove? I think everybody on the planet has something. If you walk through life and feel like you have nothing to prove, you're a fucking loser. If you wake up each day and go, I don't owe anybody anything, I don't have to prove anything to anybody, then you are a loser. But you are absolutely not being correct. You must prove yourself though. You must prove yourself to your bloodline. You must prove yourself to God. God hates the lazy. He can't stand them. If he gives you all these genetic dispositions and these natural God-given gifts, if you have 2 arms and 2 legs and you could think, and you're not trying your absolute best, that's the reason you're not lucky. He doesn't like you. He likes the people which show him the beauty of his own creation. He likes to give somebody building blocks and them to build something amazing. It's the best thing about being a man. You get to build who you are. God loves to see that. Those people, for some reason, seem to be enormously lucky, right? The person who goes, I don't have to prove anything to God. I don't owe all of my ancestors any effort. You know, for 5,000 years, people were dodging saber-toothed tigers and catching the plague and running from Genghis Khan just for my stupid ass to be born. I don't owe them anything. I don't owe them a thing. But I want to play the game. These people are fucking losers. You should walk through earth with force inside of you. As I walked into this hotel room, everybody, not because they know who I am, but because as I move, even if it's behind their head, people feel something. It's an energy that comes from brutal competence. That's what happens when a predator walks in the room. You pay attention next time you're in a restaurant. If a man who's truly dangerous walks in, nearly every other man kind of looks up and feel it. You need to or you don't survive. We've evolved with that to live. That's who I am. I couldn't imagine not being that. I've done that because I've been trying to prove myself to my lineage my entire life. I wake up every day with something to prove. I have hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm in fantastic shape, 4 times world champion, fighting the Matrix out here by myself. More. I will have to be braver. I must try harder. All I do is prove myself. So when I hear people go, I don't have nothing to prove, then you're a fucking loser. It's the denial that's going to hold you back the most. The people who go, yes, I'm wasting my potential. Those are the ones who have potential. The ones who stand up and go, I am wasting my potential. I could be anything and I am not that yet. They have a chance. The men who go, well, no, actually, I'm fine. They're fucked. They're inside the matrix, fully slave-minded. They're a waste of time. But if you sit there and go, you know what? Yeah, I am wasting my potential. Yes, I can be more than I am. Even if I'm already great, I can be better. As good as I am, I still push myself to the limit every single fucking day. I have every single thing a man could possibly want. I'm still pushing myself. This is your prerogative as a man. But you need to be instilled with a sense of duty to your bloodline. You must want it. You need to want it deep inside your soul. I can't die as anything less than emperor. It's my destiny.
What do you say to young men who come to you for advice, who feel lost, who don't really know where they fit into society?
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you. You're only going to be cared about based on how useful you are. You have the chance to build yourself up and become a superhero if you're prepared to do the hard work and be indefatigable enough to never quit. But if you're going to stand around and wait for a handout, nobody's going to ever respect you. And I think that a lot of people have forgotten about how difficult and how competitive it is as a man. We're always in constant competition with each other. And it's your duty as a man to stand up and say, I want to be as important and strong and good-hearted and God-fearing as possible. And I need to work hard to achieve those things. Masculine men have a duty to provide and protect those they care about. We have a duty to do things we don't feel like doing because we know we're supposed to do them. And that's why we stayed in the Titanic and died. We need to be teaching young men to understand that the world is very, very difficult. It's hard to be a man. You're going to feel bad sometimes. You just suck it up and perform anyway. Not to sit there and cry your eyes out or blame other people.
Tough being a woman, too, in modern society.
It's certainly tough being a woman, but I'm not a woman, so why would I speak on issues I do not understand? I'm a man. Because every man deals with heartbreak and deals with sadness, but how you use that energy is the differentiator between humans, right? You are feeling the same pain that many men have felt. I, as a man, every man out there has had his heart broken and understands how difficult it is as a man. We all know how hard it is to see the girl you love getting plowed. Yeah, to getting plowed by someone else, like you have to deal with now. You can log into our OnlyFans and see it. The difference between me and you, and perhaps some of the other men out there, is that certain men take that anguish and take that sadness and understand that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted and use it to build themselves into a man of absolute standing and power. As a man, you must build yourself into a man of credibility, which means to build yourself into a man of standing, we all start in a fairly similar position. I became me through tedious, arduous, difficult, never-ending work.
I think we're here to struggle and to learn. I don't think we're here to be happy. That's why when we keep going back to the happy argument, I've always found that kind of frustrating and annoying. When someone goes, "Oh, but I want to be happy." Why? Why? Why do you want to sit there and laugh like you were happy your entire childhood? That's your happy days. You're allowed to be happy as a kid. It's all over now, right? You're a man. You have responsibilities. I think we're here to do important. Provide, protect, and we're also here to do important things. And important things are going to be difficult, and they're going to be hard, and you're going to get frustrated. Life is hard. Life is difficult. Maybe I've just been unlucky, which I don't believe in, but I've had so much trauma and bad events and negativity and stress and all these things that have happened to me. And I've used all of it to be monumentally successful. If I wasn't that way inclined with the workload that God put on my shoulders, I'd just be in a ditch somewhere. I would have killed myself by now.
I believe that emotional energy is a lot like a bucket of water. You have all this emotional energy, right? You have a bucket of water. And then you have a bunch of different holes you can pour it down. So I believe if you wake up one day and you feel particularly depressed, you don't feel depressed. You just have a lot of emotional energy that day. Some days you don't have that much emotional energy and life's pretty calm. It's how you look at the problems and how you use them to fuel you. So the question was, what's the problem for the average man today? What's the biggest problem? I think there's a whole host of problems. But what you have to do is frame it inside of your mind and understand that all of those problems are going to allow you, give you the fuel, the unlimited motivation that you need to become a successful and beautiful individual if you frame it in the right way. If you take a man and give him a life shielded from problems and he never has any to face, I guarantee you he's terrible at being a man. The best men in the world have gone through shit. That's why women love scars, because they didn't kill you. That's the whole point of it, right? So the best thing you can do as a man is look and go, okay, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. I feel negative because these are all so difficult. I'm struggling with X, Y, Z. Let me internalize all of that and turn it into a superpower. Let me become genuinely uncomfortable with my situation in life and go and fix things. Because like I said, the universe is absolutely and utterly very giving. And if you truly hated being in the position you were in, you wouldn't be there very long. That is the most basic imperative of the masculine frame, which has been destroyed in real time. They are trying to convince you that you should act how you feel. You should show more of your feelings. If you feel this way, you should show it. If you want to cry, cry. What I'm saying is the reason they're trying to bring out emotionality in you is because of exactly what Myron said. Most of the time, you don't feel like doing the things you're supposed to do. But the true masculine frame throughout history was doing the things they didn't want to do, but they knew they had to do because they had honor and duty. That's what honor and duty means. Do you think the men on the Titanic wanted to stay on the fucking Titanic? No, we're men. We have to stay. We're scared, but we must. It's our duty to let the women and children on the lifeboats. This is masculine duty. A good man controls himself. I have absolute self-control. Emotional control is absolutely and utterly important as a man. I'm saying that you need to understand as a man, there are certain principles under which you act, regardless of how you feel. I can wake up in a terrible mood. I can wake up sad. I can ache. I can have a busy day, stressed, etc. I will complete the same tasks as if I woke up in a fantastic mood. I'll do the same things because how I feel has no bearing on the things I'm going to do with my day because I have duty to myself and to my bloodline. Because you think there's something wrong with you. You go, well, I lack motivation. I don't have the motivation to go to the gym. Well, here's the newsflash. Neither did I. And I still did it. So now what are you going to say? Now you have no excuse, right? Oh, you're scared to get in the ring. So was I. I still did it. Scared to get in the cage. So was I. I still did it. Being a man is about not feeling things. It's about acting the way you're supposed to act, regardless of how you feel. We act. We're men of action. We get things done. So the world got built. All of it. All the men who built the skyscrapers felt scared. They did it anyway. You need to become a man of action. Stop worrying about how you feel and start worrying about what you're supposed to be doing. How about that?
The world has become exceptionally easy for a lot of men. It used to be a different place. Most men were cannon fodder. Most of us would have ended up in wars dying for fucking no reason.
Damn.
Now we don't have to do that. So because we don't have to do that, men think it's okay to just become comfortable now. You're not supposed to be comfortable. You were never evolved to be comfortable. You're supposed to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And if you make yourself uncomfortable constructively, it's very easy to be anything you want. You talk about GTA, Grand Theft Auto. I know the game. I used to play the old one on the PlayStation 1 when I was a child.
Which one?
I haven't played any.
Which one? You talk about San Andreas?
Very first one.
Vice City, GTA 3? Yeah.
Oh, the very, 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 very first one, like 1994.
Okay.
Old school.
Okay.
But I've never played any of those games, but I find it amazing that people will sit there and spend all their time upgrading that character, making as much money as they can, getting the best guns, getting strong, getting some hoes, meeting important people, getting the best car. They'll do all that in a game, but they won't do it in real life. I find that incredible. Like my life is GTA. I don't need to play a game for GTA. If I want a gun, I'll fucking buy it. If I want a car, I'll fucking buy it. I want a bitch, I'll get her. It's me. I am GTA. I don't see why people play the games. They play the games because they're scared of loss. Because if you die in the game, you get another chance. If you lose in the game, you get another chance. In life, you get one shot.
Damn,
But if you get some balls, that's what life is as a game. That's what life is as a man. This is one big video game. You get to upgrade your character. You're not born with any value. All these women that you just put me on with are born with value. They're pretty already. They're gorgeous already. They're good looking enough. Even if they're a 5, someone's going to give a shit they exist because someone wants to fuck them. As a man, if you don't make yourself valuable, you have no value. You have to get up and do it. Just like a video game, you start with fucking 0. You have to decide if you want to complete it. You have to upgrade your character. So I find it amazing that men are going to play video games and fuck about and waste their time instead of upgrading their character. Everyone knows what to do. You know what you have to do.
You're right.
If you had to become the most dangerous, intelligent, respectable man on the planet, you know you're supposed to go to the gym. You know you're supposed to train, learn how to fight. You know all these things. You don't do them. That's your decision. It's your prerogative. I didn't make that choice. I made the choice to do it all. I decided all of it. That every single man watching this can do the exact same thing. Which is why I have very little pity when I do these streams and people think I'm arrogant or I'm rude to people, or even to you earlier when I was making jokes and I've been joking with the girls, saying drink the soy latte.
I'm not, yeah.
Of course, and I know we're only joking, right? But the point is that's a conscious decision you made. I would never make fun of someone who hasn't got a choice. I wouldn't make fun of someone born with one
I
eye.
have a choice though.
But if you've made a fucking decision to be less than you should be, then I believe you should be mocked for that decision.
I agree. I feel like, because like you're not living up to your full potential. Like it's your choice to basically not live up to your full potential.
Completely. And me as a man, when I put myself through hell, when I have had such exacting, such stringent standards for myself, why would I then have less exacting, stringent standards on the people I meet?
Damn.
Why would I put myself through hell to be me and then meet someone who didn't put themselves through hell and then treat them like my equal? No, fuck you. I suffered when you didn't. So you're not my equal because you decided not to suffer. You have enjoyed comfort when I haven't, and that's fine. But don't expect me to look at you as my equal because you're not. I'll snap your fucking neck.
Andrew,
that's the world.
Andrew, I have like a lot of friends around me. They're like good friends. Don't get me wrong. Like they're real friends, but like they're incredibly like lazy and they have so much potential. Like they could be big. They could be getting rich, all this shit, bro. But like they choose not to. So, but it's really hard because I love them. They're my friends. And I came up with these guys and they're so entertaining. I love them. They're my brothers, but like.
I understand. But but there's something that's always kind of confused me. When I tell people that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, everyone agrees. They go, yeah, that's probably true. The 5 people you spend the most time with, that's what you're going to end up like. They say, yeah, that's true. And then they continue to hang around with people who they don't want to be. Why? There has to be a point. There has to be a point where you sit and go, okay, you're my friends, et cetera, et cetera. I love you guys. Yeah, we can talk, whatever, but I'm on a different life path. You have to leave some people behind. You wouldn't want to be, if you were to come hang out with me and you were in a room with me and my 5 friends, you'd feel self-conscious.
You're right.
You don't feel self-conscious with your friends.
Because you only, you only surround yourself around people that are on like your level of like.
I'm with killers. We're fucking monsters. If you were to come hang around with me and my crew, you would be self-conscious. And that self-consciousness would motivate you, or they would certainly instill the discipline required for you to change. You don't feel self-conscious amongst your peers. That's why you don't change. If you were to get in a room and you're the only person who ain't a fucking monster, you'd want to become a monster. That's life. That's humanity. So I say this to people all the time. If you know you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with, why you hang around with people you don't want to be?
Nah, it's true, bro. I'm going to tell you why, right? I was, do you know who I Show Speed is?
No.
He's this other creator that's like obviously like in my space. I was staying with him in September and like, I would literally like be on my shit like every day, like grinding, like what I'm grinding. Right. And like when he left, I had like no one around me to basically like kind of like on my so it
I
shows.
get it.
Yeah.
And that's why I live in a competitive environment. I live with my brother, my cousin. I live with men. We have a big house. We could all afford fucking 10 houses each. We live together on purpose. If my brother does 500 push-ups, I ain't going to be the bitch of the house. I ain't going to not do them.
Right.
So that's another reason the war room exists. My organization, the reason it's so competitive is the reason we kick people out. You have to fight to keep.
Even if they pay, you're like, I don't give a fuck. Get out. Like,
I don't give a fuck. Get out. I'm out. It doesn't matter. Everyone pays to join. You get kicked out anyway. You have to fight to keep your place. That's the whole.
Damn.
That's because that's how life was. If we were still in the animal kingdom, the lions that you see on TV, they weren't just born big lions. They had to fight other lions. They had to fight to get that antelope. They had to fight other animals, hyenas, jackals. They had to fight to be the boss. We're living in a comfortable world now where people think, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you know what? To some degree, it does matter. It does matter. And I'm going to tell you who it matters to. It matters to your soul and it matters to God. I stand in the mirror with a pure heart. I know I am the best version of me that could possibly ever exist. I know that God is proud of me. There's nothing that God hates more than sloth and laziness. If God were to create a man and that man were to sit around and do fuck all, God will frown upon you. It's why you're never lucky. If you're listening to this and you think I'm never lucky, I'll tell you why, because God dislikes you because you're fucking lazy. Start to work. Start to show God the beauty of his own creations. You'd be amazed how lucky you'll become.
Wow.
God is unhappy with these people. And inside their hearts, they're unhappy. We talk about depression, anxiety, all those things you mentioned earlier on this podcast. That comes from self-loathing. You loathe your own weakness. You loathe your own laziness. This is what all of these things are. I don't feel depression. How can I feel depression when I'm the most powerful version of me that I could ever fucking be? How can I feel depression when I could squeeze my own hand hard enough to break my own bones? How can I feel depression when I've smashed and destroyed 68 people's faces in front of me, men who thought they could test me in fair combat? How can I feel depressed? It's impossible. Do you understand?
Bro, you got like the best fucking mentality, like brain, like ethic I've ever seen in my fucking life. What the fuck? Everything you're saying is just like that you said. It's literally facts. I agree with like 100% of everything. So why do we, okay, here's another question. Do you notice that like human beings, naturally, we don't care about things until it's gone. Like we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone. You know what I'm trying to say? Like appreciation. Like,
correct.
Why is that? Why do you think that? And do you feel that way? Like, are you very grateful? Are you appreciate what you have? Like, you know how to speak on that?
Yeah, that's a mental trick. You have to rewire your brain. That's one of the things you have to rewire your brain to do. And the reason your brain needs to be rewired is because anyone who is watching this stream below the age of 30, your brain is already broken. And I'll tell you it's broken. I'll tell you why. Watch your friends when they're on TikTok. How long can they even focus on a video before they have to change? Half a second, a second,
Damn.
maybe. All of your minds are broken. You can't even focus on anything anymore.
You're right.
You are constantly distracted to the point where you can't even appreciate the good things in your life. You're distracted. Your minds are broken. You need to rewire your mind and resist the slave programming.
How?
They have I'll tell you how. First thing you have to do is identify it. You have to identify what is happening to you. I use my mind to break the trap. What I do is I allow my enemy to manipulate me on purpose. And then I use my mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrators. I will sit on TikTok for a day and I'll just enjoy TikTok. And by the end of the day, I'll watch myself. How quickly I'm looking to be entertained, how little time I give a video, how fucked up I am. And then I'll blink and I'll cure my fucking brain. You must allow yourself to be manipulated and you must fix it. All of it. You just talked about not appreciating the things you have. Then blink and cure your brain. It's a conscious decision. You're letting other people control your mind.
All distraction.
The Matrix is trying to control your mind. They're very good at it. That's what they do to control all of us. You have to break the trap. If you cannot control your own mind, let me make this point because it's extremely important. If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life because your own mind is the only thing you can control. You can't control the weather. Right. You can't control other people. You can't even control whether your heart stops beating. You might have a heart attack tomorrow. You can't control anything besides what you think. If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control. Zero influence. You can't control anything. You're just a feather in the wind, waiting for life to blow you from happy place to sad place to happy place to sad place, completely hoping on the gods to be fortunate to you, because if any genuine discomfort comes your way, you're fucked. It is trained like everything else in life. It is trained. So if you find yourself not appreciating what you have until it's gone, then you must blink and cure your brain. If you find yourself unable to focus or concentrate on tasks, you must blink and cure your brain. If you find yourself unable to go and dedicate yourself to something you don't want to do, you must blink and cure your brain. Because all of our minds have been under constant assault for years. The way the mind functions, the way people interact has changed so significantly in the last 10 years, you wouldn't believe. If you go to a party today, as opposed to a party 10 years ago, they look completely different. People are acting differently. People are on their phones now than ever used to be. Even now, people will go to places only to get an Instagram picture, even if they don't enjoy the place.
Wow.
It's all about pretending they're having fun as opposed to actually having fun. The entire paradigm of society and how we interact has now changed.
It's actually very interesting, the masculine experience, because I like to believe that most men on the planet have lived a semi-similar timeline. All of us as men experience a very similar human paradigm, and that is that most men are born and you're not important, and then you go to school and you fall in love with some girl in school and she fucks someone else, and then you realize that all the 19-year-olds you want when you're 19 are with older dudes because they have cars or whatever, and you go through this experience of getting your heart broken and losing your girlfriend, et cetera, and many men latch on to some average bitch or accept they're going to have their heart broken forever. But some men decide to become so big and important and strong and irreplaceable that they never have to suffer heartbreak again. Because every man deals with heartbreak and deals with sadness, but how you use that energy is the differentiator between humans, right? You are feeling the same pain that many men have felt. Every man out there has had his heart broken and understands how difficult it is as a man. But the difference between me and you, and perhaps some of the other men out there, is that certain men take that anguish and take that sadness and understand that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted, and use it to build themselves into a man of absolute standing and power, as opposed to sitting around jerking off like you just told me you do. You are a waste. You are wasting your energy. Heartbreak is unlimited motivation. If I was heartbroken, it's been a very long time, but if I was heartbroken, I'd be in the gym every morning. I'd be a beast. I'd be running. I'd be working. I couldn't sleep. I'd be an absolute animal, and you're heartbroken, and what are you doing? Jerking off like a fucking dumbass. The difference is, as a man, you must build yourself into a man of credibility, which means to build yourself into a man of standing, we all start in a fairly similar position. I became me through tedious, arduous, difficult, never-ending work. You are wasting your time. You know why God made your girl leave you? Because he wanted to show you that you ain't shit. He wanted to show you that you are human and you're fallible and that you're very replaceable. So he decided to make you fall in love with a girl, and he decided to make her leave you to show you that you are a dickhead. Now it is your job to look at the board, understand what's happened, say, I understand, God, I deserve that. I'm glad she left me and I'm sad because I am a dickhead, and do something about it. Because if you refuse, if you ignore God's message, next time you fall in love with a bitch, guess what he's going to do? He's going to make her leave you to remind you once again that you are a dickhead. Every single man out here, if you're upset that your girl's leaving you, God is reminding you that you aren't worth shit. You need to get up and work so hard that even in the eyes of God, he is proud of you. God loves his creations, which show him their true potential and beauty. By getting up and trying your absolute best and becoming a man of moral standing, he will reward you and bless you. If you continue to be a dickhead, God will remind you you're a dickhead. So God just broke your heart on purpose to show you that the way you're living your life and the man you are simply are not good enough. What have you changed since? Nothing. Fucking nothing. You think God's going to forgive you for no reason? You think God's going to go, it's fine. He hasn't learned his lesson. He hasn't changed. He isn't even trying very hard. He's not up early in the gym. He ain't doing nothing. It's fine. Let's just let him fall in love, and let's make sure the girl doesn't fuck someone else on OnlyFans this time. No, sir! This is going to repeat endlessly. It's a cycle that will not fucking change until you take the message from God and become the man you're supposed to be. You must stop being a dickhead. You deserve what's happened to you. You deserve how you feel. All of it.
When I was 20, me and my girlfriend broke up. I was with her for 4 years. I couldn't sleep. And this is before social media. You couldn't just chase a bitch. That was it. She's gone now. She moved. I didn't know where she lived. That was it. And I couldn't sleep. Now, it wasn't like I was crying my eyes out, but I was just, where's my hoe at? I couldn't sleep.
Need something else to do.
So I thought, fuck, I'll hit the gym at 6 a.m., hit the gym at 3 p.m., hit the gym at 8 p.m. I had nothing else to do but fight. So I took all that trauma, all that heartbreak, and I molded it into becoming a world level combatant.
right? What did we talk earlier about how trauma can mold you? How trauma can be a fantastic thing. Heartbreak, depression, sadness. These are all fantastic motivators. I'm telling you why they're a fantastic motivator. You go to a guy who's heartbroken. He has all the motivation in the world to send 300 text messages. He has the motivation. He's putting it in the wrong place.
That's 300 cold emails you could be sending to someone to pitch a business.
That's a lot of money you could have made.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, some of the greatest accomplishments in my life have come after a heartbreak.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's that I call it fuck you energy. Take that and you're like, cause some guys will get butthurt about that and they'll sit there and they'll wallow in self-pity. I've always thought the correct application of that energy is, okay, prove that she made a shitty mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and become a fucking millionaire. Go out and become a kickboxer. Go out and become a porn star, whatever. And then she's going to look around when she's 50 pounds heavier in a year's time. You're like, motherfucker, I left him. I let him go.
Yeah.
You can, and internally,
be happy.
My ego could be like,
yeah,
I got you.
Life's going to hurt you, and how you use that pain is completely and utterly up to you. You can use that pain to galvanize yourself as a man and become a better man you've ever been. I'm not saying that I'm only successful because of some chick. I'm saying that every single time that I was heartbroken, I never wasted a second. I was never wallowed.
Especially as a young man. We talked about this on the show. You're going to get your heart broken as a young man. I've had it happen to me.
Yeah.
We've all had it happen to us. And it's not even about anger towards the girl. Me and Tristan talked about this on the podcast that we did together, Gentleman Game. It's 7 years later, because as a man, you're going to get your value later.
Yes.
Right. So if you use that energy to put all that work in, these girls, they come back around, and I love to see them come back. Not because I'm in love again, just because it's like, I told you so.
Yeah. No, I said this, like anybody who tries to get revenge on a woman, that's incel energy. That's the wrong way of looking at it. The only revenge you can get on a woman who breaks your heart is success. Success is the best revenge. Just level up slowly. And when she messages you, you got two choices. You can either say, sorry, baby, you're not my type anymore. Boom, you win.
So that's the answer to the question. Put a plan together for the heartbreak if it comes, and make sure that plan is constructed. Everything we've been saying on this podcast is true. Trauma's going to come, pain's going to come, and you have to use it. Women, I didn't want to lose them, and they weren't listening, so I walked away, and they didn't chase me, and I lost them, but that's...
Like, subscribe, and join us on Patreon, Warrior.